Hi everyone. There's another video on the 3D printing. I watched a video yesterday, and I'm going to have an annotation up here. It'll be either here or there. To a link. This guy does this video, and what he does, he prints out a part he's making for. He's making an XY milling type machine for cutting foam or wood or whatever he wants. And he prints this part in plastic, and which the 3D printer is fully capable of doing. He has the design on his computer, he prints it out in an exact copy. Then he takes the piece of plastic and he uses foam sprues. He makes sprues with foam, and he has a gate and a sprue, right, so that he can pour the molten metal in and then it'll vent out. He takes that and he mixes up plaster of Paris and sand, and he puts it in the plaster of Paris and sand, and then he lets it sit until it hardens. Then he takes that and he puts the whole thing into his foundry, and he melts out the plastic. He just heats it up and it burns out, leaving the mold. Then he takes it, pours the molten aluminum in, and he has an exact copy. All right? Now, if you're familiar with the lost wax casting process, where like Ruger makes all its receivers using lost wax casting. What they do is they make a wax replica coated in ceramic, melt out the wax, and then they pour in the molten steel. The Japanese have used lost wax casting to make things for hundreds of years. Dentists use it. It's an incredible process, because if you have, if you have something, you carve something out of wax, you coat it in ceramic, you melt out the wax, you pour in your aluminum, steel, whatever, you end up with is an exact replica. I mean, if I made this out of plastic, covered it in ceramic, boom, right? Well, he's doing it with plastic, right? He's doing the exact same thing. He's melting out the plastic, or burning out the plastic. Well, my mind is just going, right? I mean, this adds to the other stuff with the 3D printing. I mean, this just tells me that there is nothing that can't be made in a small shop. Of course, you're going to need a 3D printer. You need a computer, a 3D printer. You're going to need an autoclave or a foundry, whatever. And a bunch of meltable aluminum. Go get an engine block. Aluminum wheel rims. Housings for whatever. I mean, just go to your local junkyard and there's aluminum all over the place. If you want to make it out of copper, you can make it out of copper. So anyway, this just adds to it. I mean, this is starting, the more I investigate the 3D printing, the more I realize that, oh my God, the world has changed. I mean, it really has. I don't know what I said in the last video on 3D printing, but the 3D printer, in the long run, and like this is early days, but in the long run, when things start to develop, right? Guys smarter than me, right? And there's a lot of them. I mean, but, I could see it from my perspective for making things, right? I mean, like, if this was 20 years ago, I'd be making scope mounts, right, in a major way, right? Like, I'd never buy another scope mount. I'd make my own, right? To use in the business. That's just one thing. Trigger guards, forearm spacers, all those bits and pieces that are made of plastic or made of aluminum, and I can all and one of the problems is to have it there. A scope mount costs X number of dollars. Well, now you got the aluminum, boom, you can make up 50 of them for probably the same price. This just boggles my mind. This really does. This just blows me away. Anyway, check this link. This thing is starting to, I'm starting to investigate this, and I'm thinking, man, this is exciting stuff. This really is exciting stuff. So anyway, I got to get back to my whatever, and till the next time.